Hey folks, welcome back to Cape Ann. Today we are joined by Frederica Doeringer and Chad Konecky. They're both with Sawyer Free Library talking about Sawyer Free Library 2025. This is a philanthropic capital campaign to modernize and, I guess, basically renovate the current building over on
right.
Dale Avenue. How are you both?
Great. Good to be here.
Yes, likewise.
Thanks for joining us today. So, okay, right off the bat, I guess, Frederica, do you just want to explain a little bit about your involvement and why we're here, why we're having this conversation today?
Yes, thank you. So my involvement is simply as a board member and for the foundation, which is raising the money for the renovation. And I've been, as of late, mostly involved in the communication aspect of the library, but lots to tell about the renovation, the library, much more interesting than about why I'm with the campaign.
So start right in. Tell us who the architect is. Tell us sort of the architect's vision for this new library in the center of a city.
Sure. Don Manel is the architect. He's the same. Am I right on this, Chad?
Actually, yeah, Manel was the architect of the current building that's being renovated, and it's
Odom.
Yeah, Uden's Elo Architecture is doing the expansion, which is going to more or less double the size of the building.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so there are two pieces. There's a renovation and then there's an expansion in addition.
That's right. And maybe if I could start first on why we need to do this, because then what we're doing, I think, will make more sense. So the building itself, the major part of the library right now, was built about 50 years ago. And you know, its infrastructure has had its day. There are leaks all over, plumbing issues, ADA issues. Much of the library, the current library, is not accessible for handicapped people. Where the children's library is not particularly safe. It's a little scary for children. Long halls, not enough room. It isn't sustainable. And so for all of those reasons, and one really important one, 50 years ago, we didn't all have computers. We didn't even know, I didn't know what the internet was. We need to meet all of those needs, because the more complicated that technology gets, the more sophisticated the library needs to get in terms of the resources that it provides and the explanations it supplies for people. And so our new library is going to address, or our renovated and expanded library is going to address all of those issues. Sustainability is a big thing. They are working on trying to be able to produce all of the energy on site. They want to have the most efficient HVAC systems to help with that. And so that's pretty exciting to have that kind of a sustainable building. And what we know is going to happen is, you know, as you enter the newly renovated library on the Dale Street side, it'll look much the same. But as you go in, you'll see a beautiful atrium, well lit, everything will be open. That whole part of the major building now is going to be gutted. And in its place, will be in its place and into the expanded space that will go out towards the School Street side, will be wonderful sunlit spaces, places, special children's room, and a special programming room for children within the children's library, a teen room, spaces for digital makers space, which is very exciting. There'll be a recording studio and a filming studio. There will be a wonderful 110 space meeting room that can be also made into smaller meeting room spaces, and it's open in the evening, the only space in the area that'll be open in the evening and to the public. So we're very excited about all of that. But most importantly is the ability we're going to have in communication, in technology. There'll be, as I said, a digital makerspace, because people feel or think sometimes that just because we have technology, we don't need a library. What do we need a library for now? You can just order books online. You can ask any question to Google. Well, it has become more complicated, and people really need to go places to learn about what's going on. And I just want to say that often people think that the library is just for people who are maybe underprivileged or have handicaps, or they're old, or they're really young. But really, the great equalizer here is that that all of us have the same questions. We may have more technology at home, but we have the questions. And going to the library, we can find out more. And actually, I think a really big thing is we can go to the library to help us formulate the questions that we need to ask. And so maybe I'll stop there. And just to say, let me just give you a few numbers and then I really will stop. The library is going to increase by 15,000 square feet. All of the space is going to be better space. And we get about 275,000 visitors to the library every year. And they are older people, younger people, children. They are our 100 partner agencies that use our space. And we have, I think, about 15,000 library card holders. That's just about half the population in Gloucester. And so now maybe, Chad, you could talk a little bit more about the campaign.
Wait a minute, hold on. I need to know what a makerspace is. A digital
I was afraid you were going to ask me about
Heather,
that.
Here we go.
just 3 sentences.
Yeah. That's all I can come up with.
Okay.
It's really a place where people can come together to create new things. And it could be like a budding engineer, mathematician, and a humanist coming together to solve a problem in this great space.
I could piggyback on that by adding that the digital makerspace will contain a digital lab for media creation and coding activities. So it's a really robust setup with new and emerging technologies for people to explore. So there really will be state of the science hardware and software inside that lab.
So who wants to use that lab? Who will love this?
Oh my gosh. Somebody who's exploring a new career, somebody who's trying to produce creative content for themselves or others. As Freddie said, anybody who has an interest in STEM. I mean, I think people of all ages are going to be in that lab. And it also helps that the library has specific tech troubleshooting consultants on staff. So anybody needs help using that new technology, it's there and available to them.
Really interesting.
Yeah. So Chad, do you want to get in sort of the nuts and bolts of the campaign and the ask over the next couple of years here?
Sure. I would just add 2 more details about the library.
Sure.
Freddie did an unbelievable job of encapsulating what we're looking at and what's so exciting about this project. But at the end of the day, this project to renovate and expand the Sawyer Free Library, we're calling the campaign Sawyer Free 2025. It's going to, I just have to read these, it'll drive a 25% increase in annual visitors, so already at 275,000. It'll drive a 25% increase in the number of programs offered each month by the library. And as some people may not know, the library partners with over 100 service providers across Cape Ann to deliver programming at the library to folks from Gloucester and folks from all over Cape Ann and the North Shore. And it also yield a 50% increase in the number of programs hosted by the library. So this project is going to be profoundly transformative to the city of Gloucester by sort of remaking what is already, its educational, cultural, and civic center, the Sawyer Free Library. With regard to the campaign, it's super exciting. As a media consultant, this one's kind of hard to screw up because the what we're trying to do is so inspiring, and I think people are really not going to be able to miss it because of the level of awareness we're going to raise when we launch, which we'll already have done by the time this appears. And also, they're going to feel like they'll miss out if they don't get involved in helping change the future of Gloucester and helping to fund the future. So the campaign is using, traditional media methods that everyone is familiar with: print and digital earned media, paid media on the radio and television, social media ad placement, campaign awareness visibility tools like signage, banners, mailers.
So how much are you trying to raise, Chad?
Oh, the ask.
Give us the nuts and bolts.
The ask, you bet. The project cost with inflation built into this price through 2025 is $28 million. And the library has secured to this point, the foundation has secured to this point, $14.1 million in pledged donations.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's great. That's wonderful.
Right. So we're really hoping to carry it through to the finish line.
Yeah. And when is the finish line?
Well, that's a great question. So in order to, the part of that pledged money is a $9.3 million construction grant from the Mass Library Board of Commissioners. Wow. That's a provisional grant. So the campaigns like this one and all the other public library campaigns that are going on throughout Massachusetts because of this funding have to show sufficient community viability within a certain time frame. And so, I mean, the campaign, this is why we're pushing so hard. The campaign more or less needs to raise $10 million, $10 more million by sometime in the fall.
So a big important question is, will the library be open during this construction?
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good.
That's the short answer. Yes, it'll move, right, Freddie?
Yeah, they're looking right now for temporary space, which I'm sure will find, and they anticipate that it'll be seamless.
Okay, so people can make a donation and there is no disruption in library service. That's great.
Correct.
Yeah.
Does the existing footprint, how much is that going to change? What about the parking area back by School Street side?
I think we're going to lose maybe a couple of parking spots on school in the parking lot. That's all. And it's going to double the size of the existing library. And the space is going to be just so much better. It's going to be all open. We won't have to increase staffing because the librarians will be able to see all over from their vantage point.
Well, I seem to be asking the sensitive questions, and I have one more. The tree, will there be a new tree planted?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's good.
A big one.
Oh, that's good.
Well, this is exciting stuff because obviously there's going to be a lot of attention to the city with the 400th anniversary happening. And so is there sort of a time frame or timeline for, like, I know Heather asked about the length of the campaign, but what is the library doing right now to help raise those funds? Because you said there are no public funds being asked for here, or they're going to be used. It's completely philanthropic, private donations, maybe matched by certain grants as well.
Right.
Yes.
What is the ask of the community throughout all of this?
Well, I'd be remiss by not starting this answer with directing people to the new website, which is sawyerfree2025.org, where they can donate. They can also text to donate. That information is right there on the website. And I mean, it's gonna take a village. I mean, anybody that can help the foundation campaign in any way they can, you can give as little as $3. And of course, volunteering for the foundation and or the library during this period of time is a huge way to contribute. And it really would be representative of this campaign's community focus, to give some time, and volunteering can be done virtually, as we all know now. But yeah, I mean, people need to give, people need to fund the future of Gloucester. And there's only one way to do it. If you're doing philanthropy, you've got to get people excited about the outcome, which is extraordinary and transformational, as I said, but also get excited about participating.
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting that libraries have changed so much as we enter this century. And what you are proposing to build is really not just a library, it's a social hub, and much more than it ever has been before.
That's right. That's right.
And really important to have that in downtown Gloucester.
Or maybe we just have to sort of turn our minds around, and it's not a library like we knew, but this is the library of now and into the future.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, in speaking to Bruce Tarr, the state senator, participated in our video that will be launched on the website and social media on launch day. And, you know, I thought he put it perfectly. He said, you know, it's a place where we can learn about our past as we think about our future. And it's a place where we know we can come together and think together about the ideas of our time. So, I mean, it's truly a cultural epicenter and hub for the city. And when this new building and the completely renovated existing building that will retain the traditional exterior, I hate this phrase, but it will be a game changer for the city.
Oh, it sounds like it too. You know, and Frederica, you brought up a great point at the beginning of the interview, which is I'm not sure that even the community knows how resourceful the library is. And you mentioned like 100 different community partners that have worked there. I thought the way they transitioned throughout COVID was amazing.
Yes.
I'm in that library all the time, and amazing work from the staff there as well. Do you just want to touch about those partnerships especially?
Yeah, some of the partnerships include, organizations, for instance, like Wellspring. They conduct their English as a second language program at the library. There are children's programs right now. We are the elementary school children who are temporarily in the church school come to the library for all of their library needs. And the public library serves as really the greatest resource and library for so many schools in our town, in our city. Chad, can you think of any more nonprofits off the top of your head?
Sure. Aggressive and robust collaboration with places like the YMCA. You mentioned Wellspring. Oh my God, I've been going over these names.
This is the lightning round, Chad. You should have warned you.
Yeah.
The teen center. The teen center has been a really nice addition to the library, right? Where there's that separate area for there's chairs and things like that there where teens can hang out.
Right, and Pathways for Children use our space. Pretty much most nonprofits. What?
The Open Door, Cape Museum, and many others, over 100, are in some level of partnership with the library.
Yeah.
Well, we use their archives all the time, and I happen to love their the old interviews, the digital interviews that you can listen to. And
well, then you're going to be happy to know that I don't know if you remember that the History Center is sort of tucked away in a corner, and it's really not protecting the resources there as well as it might. There'll be a whole new History Center with state-of-the-art preservation equipment in there. So it's going to be everything.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Awesome.
And that not only will there be a dedicated teen room in this new library, but there'll be a dedicated teen creation room in the teen room. So it's really the design and the sensibility of the human experience that's being put into this project is, state of the science.
Well said, Chad. So, okay, lastly, for folks, if they want to help out, how can they go about doing that and learn more about Sawyer Free
First, check out
2025?
our website at sawyerfree2025.org. And there will be so many questions and answers there that will be very helpful, and they can certainly get in touch with us to talk about how they may want to help.
And I would just add about the website, this was designed by a user experience website designer, which is it's gonna be a very different kind of website than most people visit. Extremely heavily laden with video content, testimonials, high production value, groupings of video, and just a very easily navigable site that tells the story of the library, what the library does for people now, and what it'll do for people when it's 2025 comes around.
There you have it, folks. Okay, well, let's continue this conversation for sure. As I know, this can be a lot going on throughout this campaign, and we'd love to help along the way the best we can. So, Freddie Doeringer, Chad Konecky, Sawyer Free 2025, thanks so much for your time, and let's chat soon.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Interested in a sponsorship? Email sponsor@1623studios.org to learn more.